Hi everyone, so this video is going to teach you how to add content into Classwork in about 9 easy steps. So remember, we're back onto our created classroom that we did from the past 2 videos, and now we're going to add actual content. So we're going to click on the Classwork tab, and we're going to go into this icon. We're going to click right here, and it gives you some options. So if I wanted to provide an assignment for my students, I would click on assignment, and then I would maybe call it creative short story assignment, or whatever the title is. Obviously, this is just for instructional purposes. And then I wouldn't necessarily assign points to it. I could keep it ungraded. But if you want just to pretend put 100 points in it, Dufferin-Peel doesn't support a Google Classroom as the appropriate grading platform. So I could just do it as pretend, but just let my students know that this doesn't actually mean anything. We're just putting in a point system just to have it there, or I could keep it ungraded. I would put in a due date. So maybe the assignment's due on the 10th. And then I could even add a time. So for example, maybe I want to make sure that my students aren't staying up too late. So I'm going to say 7 p.m. That's your deadline. It's really important that I assign it to a topic, because otherwise this assignment will not go into a specific unit. So let's say it's in our Unit 1 short story. I will link it to the Unit 1 short story of the previous units that I have created, or if it's by subject area, it would be by subject area. I could provide additional instruction, for example, and then I have certain options. So if I have a handout already created about this assignment and it's on my computer, I might click that paperclip icon and I would click select files from your device. And then I could go into my documents and then search for things. I could also, if it's on my Google Drive, I can look for the assignment in my recent, if I was recently working on it, or I could just search my Drive in folders and see where it's stored and go from there. Another option is that if I want to have a video to prompt students, I can click right on over here. I would search for something, or I could add a URL from the video already there, and I'll go over with more details of that, what that looks like later on. And then I could also add a link to a website. If I want students to use a certain website to help them cite, I might put it right on over here. And then if I am satisfied with this, then I don't have to delete, but the garbage little icon means I delete it. If I want to assign it right now immediately, I could. If I want to schedule when to assign it, a little calendar will pop up and I could say, oh, I don't want to assign it yet, but I do in the next month. And I could go back to it and then what time I want to schedule. Or I could decide to just save the draft because I'm still working on it. I'm not really sure yet, but I want to remind myself. And my saved drafts would go at the top of my classroom right in here. But right now I'm going to assign it. I want students to see it right away. And if you scroll down to your Unit 1, you'll see it right here popped up for you. And students would be able to also see it in the stream, in their stream option that you have assigned in an assignment. So I'll go back into my classwork. My second option is I maybe want to do a quiz assignment. So if you use Google Forms, this is where you would have your quiz assignment. So a pop-up window will come up for your quiz assignment, and it's going to create a blank Google form. If you click on blank quiz, it will take you to Google Forms. And then in that case, you can create a quiz. You can also have the option to make sure that students' screens are locked on their Chromebook so they can't navigate outside of this page. This session is not going to go into Google Forms, but there are great videos out there that teaching you about Google Forms. So I'm going to just exit that. If I want to ask the class a question, so I did create a question from before. So let's say I wanted to ask students this question. Go back. I'm just going to paste it. And then I want to give them the instruction to please write using 5 to 7 sentences. I could do that. And then again, I could make it ungraded. I can have a due date for it. And then I assign it to topic. Let's pretend it's a question that came up in our short story. So maybe we talked about being responsible citizens because we read a short story about them being responsible citizens, and a social justice topic, and I could assign it to that. I could also have the ability to make it multiple choice and make this question multiple choice. But for this purpose, I'm using the short answer. I can make sure that students do not reply to each other, or I could, But in this case, I'd want to talk to students ahead of time about what it means to appropriately respond to each other. And then I can also have them edit their answers once they submitted, if that's what I choose. And then again, I have the option schedule, save draft. I'm going to ask it. When I ask a question to students, which is right here in the short story unit, if I click on it, I will see this view. I will see how many I have assigned the question to. I have seen who has turned it in. And if there are students who haven't turned it in, if I click on this, it will show me all the students who haven't. Now here, I obviously do not have any students at this moment, so it's showing me blank. But once I have students, it would show me a different view. So I go into ENG when you want to get back to my main page, go back into my classroom, navigate, or classwork. And that would be a question. The last type of content you may want to add is material. So I want to share a great resource with you. It's the Catholic Digital Citizenship Resource. It's a PowerPoint or Google slide that was created by Duffer and Peel to teach students about digital citizenship. It's really important if we're asking our students to engage in any sort of digital platform that we also talk to them about some of the rules. So I might say that DPCDSB, Catholic Digital Citizenship Resource. I'm going to add instructions. Now, just so you know, I am providing the link to this resource. I know I recently looked at it in my Google Drive, so I'm going to click on this, and I'm looking at the copy. Make sure to make a copy of it so you can connect to it, and I'm going to add it, and it's going to appear here for you. It's going to appear right here for you, and I can post it right away, but I want to make sure, again, I attach it to a topic. And I'm going to put it under my resources because this is something I want students to always access so I can refer back to it in my course to say, hey, we talked about this. Remember about being a digital citizen and what that means? And then I'm going to post it. All right, and then the last thing I'm going to do is if there are any old posts that if I have another Google Classroom already created and there are some other posts that I liked from that one, I can just recycle them. I can go into that class and I could see if there are any posts there for me. And this one didn't have any, but that's another option. So just a few things to remember to sum up. Make sure that you always attach anything to a topic. That's really important because otherwise it will just be kind of in very disorganized on this page. You also have the option to create a class drive folder. If I click on this, it automatically saves my course material into Google Drive. So it's there for me about any resources I have created. It creates that folder for me. So that's a really great bonus about it. So that's it for now. Any other tips will be on that handout for you. Hopefully I have covered most of it so that you feel prepared to add some content into your course before adding students.